What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Outer Heaven, entitled Realms of Eternal Decay. This is released on Relapse Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Douglasville, Pennsylvania, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very groovy, doom laden, hardcore influenced style of death metal. Yeah. My first introduction to this band was their 2015 EP release entitled Diabolus Vobiscum. I don't really remember when exactly I got it, but I know I did order it from Deathwish Inc. many years ago, and I had heard a lot of great things about that particular EP, and upon listening to it, I believe that the hype behind this band was justified. A lot of creative guitar riffs, a lot of awesome vocals, a lot of great music and songwriting aspects going on with that particular release. But the next year, this band would only continue to fine-tune their craft in the form of a four-way split with three other bands that I feel would be suitable as contemporaries for a band like Outer Heaven. The four-way split release with bands such as Gatecreeper, Scorched, and Homewrecker. Every single track that was included from all of those bands were really, really awesome. Of course, to me, the songs that stuck out to most to me were the songs from Gatecreeper and from Outer Heaven. Really, really killer stuff. And ever since then, this band has just been on a roll, on a tear, playing live shows, working on music. Of course, this band got signed to Relapse Records, and of course, then came the announcement of their official debut full-length entitled Realms of Eternal Decay. I was very curious to see and hear how far this band had evolved since those particular EP and split releases. Now here we are with the debut full-length from Outer Heaven entitled Realms of Eternal Decay. It's 10 tracks, and it clocks in at around 33 minutes in length, and honestly, I truly feel that a band like Outer Heaven has made the full-fledged transition from a hardcore influenced sort of death metal band to being just a straight-up death metal band. This album does feel like a death metal release through and through, but all the influences that you would best know Outer Heaven for show up in a lot of great detail here throughout the majority of this album, and it makes for something very impressive and very entertaining to listen to. I mean, this album starts off with the track Vortex of Thought. I mean, that's a really, really killer way to get the ball rolling for this album, and then throughout the next couple of tracks, you just get a lot of quickness, a lot of smart and intelligent musicianship, and just overall just something very special here. Musically, this is so solid and awesome to listen to. I think Arthur Risk did the production and mixing behind the scenes on this album, and you can tell how well fine-oiled this album is. This is really a great record to listen to it's fancy to the ear, so to speak. The guitar playing on here is very top-notch. I mean, tracks once again mentioning Vortex of Thought, and then later on to songs like Pulsating Swarm, Blood Spire, Sacrificial Evolution. You just get some really top-notch guitar playing going on here. Very heavy riffs, a lot of groove, a lot of doom influence going on with those guitar riffs. They sound really, really awesome, and I definitely think they stand out so much on this entire record. The bass work on here is very good. Love the bass tone. Love the way that it's mixed and mastered. Love the way that it sounds throughout the majority of this record. It really does make another difference, just like the guitar playing that's being represented throughout the majority of Realms of Eternal Decay. It's a very top-notch bass tone and performance. Drum-wise, this is a very solid drum performance here. Love the way the drums sound. Love the snare. Love the little parts where things begin to go between being fast and being mid-paced to slow. Like, once again, going to the track Blood Spire, I love the way the drum performance is on the track on that song. It starts off pretty quickly, but then towards the halfway mark, you get a little bit more of a slower sort of breakdown sort of influence going on with those drums. And of course, death metal has breakdowns too, and they can sound badass. And here on Realms of Eternal Decay, these breakdown parts just sound phenomenal. I mean, on Bloodspire, Vortex of Thought, just those parts, in addition to the already amazing guitar riffs, work out very, very well here. And I really like the way that this drummer handles his business and accompanies every single track with fine detail and creativity. For some of the shorter tracks on here, like What Lies Beneath and Tortured Winds, you just get a lot of the more breakneck momentum that this drummer does, and it's really, really awesome. And when it comes to the vocals, I like the vocal delivery here. It's very monstrous sounding. You can hear a little bit of a reverbed edge when it comes to the vocal delivery, but this guy does a tremendous job of weaving the tales, weaving the stories as every song and track goes by. It's very entertaining, and this is pretty much where a lot of the talk of Outer Heaven having that neanderthalic sort of presence comes forward here. This vocalist here sounds like a madman. He sounds like an evil neanderthalic type of person, and he really conveys that here throughout the 10 tracks that are on this full length. It's wildly entertaining. I love his vocal delivery. I love his energy. I love his charisma. There's just a lot to enjoy here about this guy who does the vocals for Outer Heaven. It's really awesome. So overall, this is a very, very strong and impressive debut from this band. I'm honestly excited to see what the future will hold for Outer Heaven, whether it leads to more full-length albums, more tours, more exposure. I definitely think a band like Outer Heaven deserves it. If you're into death metal, that has that groove and doom and hardcore sort of element going for it, Outer Heaven is the band to be checking out. I would definitely recommend listening to this band's body of work and then get into an album like Realms of Eternal Decay. This is wildly entertaining stuff. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Vortex of Thought, Pulsating Swarm, Multicellular Savagery is another great track, Bloodspire is a killer song, and the closing track, Decaying Realms, absolutely killer stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Outer Heaven Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it digitally, and it is available physically as a CD and 12-inch vinyl. This band recently did a string of tour dates with Full of Hell, and I'm very optimistic that all of those shows went very, very well, and hopefully in 2019 this band can tour some more, and hopefully they can come to Texas and I can watch them play live. So again, the album is Realms of Eternal Decay by Outer Heaven. This is released on Relapse Records. Go check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Very, very great debut album from Outer Heaven, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for them. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it. Are any of you guys into Outer Heaven? Definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until next time, Army out.